Hi everyone, before we get into this important video, I need to preface a few things. I'm not a medical professional. This video does not contain medical or health advice. The information I'm about to present was obtained via a Freedom of Information request made under the Environmental Information Regulations 2004. This is now public information, and I'm sharing it in the interest of transparency and public awareness. I'd also like to thank Josh Fern from the Lotus Eaters for looking over the data I compiled. Josh holds a Master of Research in Psychological Research Methodology, which included extensive statistical training. He also personally specialised in quantitative analysis, which adds a great deal of credibility to the review of this data. For the past few months, I've been quietly investigating potential contamination in the UK's water supply. I wanted to find out what's really being detected in the water we rely on every single day, not just what shows up in press releases or public reports. So I submitted a Freedom of Information request to nearly every single water company in the United Kingdom, from Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and of course England, asking for all recorded instances where contaminants exceeded legal safety limits between 2020 and 2025. I've only received a handful of responses so far, with some companies still delaying or processing requests, and one water company is trying to charge me £187 just to release public information. Very bizarre. It may take another month or more until I can fully compile everything, but what some companies have already sent back is extensive and deeply, deeply concerning. This is public information, and what you're about to see is based entirely on the data provided by one water company, and that's Wessex Water. So between 2020 and 2025, Wessex Water recorded dozens of instances where contaminants in their supply area exceeded legal safety thresholds. These weren't isolated instances, they were consistent, and in some cases, very extreme. Thanks to the FOI response, we now have access to the actual lab results. This dataset includes the date of detection, the type of contaminant, for example lead, iron, copper, the measured concentration, standardized to micrograms per litre, and for clarity, these are mass values, not volumes. Micrograms per litre is the standard measurement for contamination in drinking water. And Wessex Water has clarified that these samples were taken before any treatment, meaning before processes like blending or filtration. They may not represent exactly what reaches consumer taps. However, each exceedance triggered an internal investigation, a site inspection, and potentially a public health risk review, and if required, a notification to the UK's Health Security Agency. When a contaminant exceeds legal limits, the water company is required to investigate, assess the risk, and take remedial action. If there is a potential health risk, they must notify the UK Health Security Agency and the Drinking Water Inspectorate. But here's the issue: unless there's a boil notice or a major public health warning, in many cases like chemical exceedances that are still under review, no public alert is ever made. The public may never be told what happened, why it happened, or whether it was fully resolved. Most incidents are handled behind the scenes, and the only way to find out what's actually going on is to submit a FOI request like I did. One of the most shocking detections was from a water sample taken on one specific day, March the 12th, 2021, which recorded 1.8 million micrograms per litre of unflushed lead. Unflushed means the water was tested immediately after turning on the tap without letting it run. This matters because water left sitting in old pipes, especially lead pipes, can absorb heavy metals. These readings reflect a worst case exposure scenario. Now here's the context. The legal limit for lead in UK drinking water, according to the Drinking Water Inspectorate, is 10 micrograms per litre. The Wessex Water sample recorded 1.8 million. That's 180,000 times the legal limit. That's why I had others double check this before even considering publishing it. You'll also see frequent detections of other heavy metals, including iron, copper, aluminium for whatever reason, manganese, nickel. This chart displays the total concentration of the most severe water contaminants detected by Wessex Water between 2020 and 2025. This data was obtained via the FOI and includes pre-treatment readings. Unflushed lead alone accounts for over 1.9 million micrograms per litre, making up the vast majority of recorded contamination. Iron and copper follow, whilst manganese and nickel appear in smaller quantities. And while Wessex Water emphasises that these figures reflect source water before treatment, the sheer scale and frequency of these exceedances raises serious questions about 1. Ageing infrastructure, 2. Monitoring procedures, and 3. The transparency of public health communication without routine public updates or in-home water testing. Like I said before, residents may never know when or if elevated contaminants are present until symptoms emerge or formal reports are triggered. Talking about symptoms, let's briefly cover the health impacts of the key contaminants. Lead is a well-known neurotoxin and has been linked to neurological and developmental damage, especially in children, kidney toxicity, high blood pressure, and cardiovascular issues. Iron and copper, while essential in trace amounts, can cause stomach irritation, metallic taste in water, organ damage at high levels, and manganese and nickel can cause liver and lung issues, skin and respiratory irritation, and potential nervous system effects at higher concentrations. So what's missing from the data? Despite asking for records on PFAS chemicals, often referred to as forever chemicals because they don't break down in the environment or the body, as well as pharmaceuticals and microplastics, there is no mention of these substances in Wessex Water data. That likely means that they're either not being routinely monitored or they were not detected or not disclosed. To be fair, Wessex Water appears to be fulfilling their legal obligations, investigating exceedances, conducting health risk reviews, and alerting health authorities when required. But for the public, there's no reliable way to know what's coming out of your tap unless you test your own water, and let's be honest, most of us don't. You develop health symptoms, or the company informs you outright. Until then, we're left with pre-treatment data that reveals serious systemic issues at the source. Again, this is not medical advice, but it is public information, and it deserves public attention. This is just one chapter in a much broader investigation. I still have more data arriving from other water companies, and I'll be presenting those findings very soon, hopefully in due time. Thank you to absolutely everyone who's decided to share this video and to keep people informed, and for anyone who decides to go that extra mile. Thank you very much for watching, and I will present the data once it arrives very, very, very soon, God willing. Thank you.